Welcome to episode 67 of Timm Talk, the podcast about the DC animated universe co-created by Bruce Timm. I am Chris Lord.
I'm Cameron Dexter.
And some more Superman and Batman this week.
Yeah, can you up it just a little bit? You're real down today.
Dude,
We're starting off.
It's been a long weekend.
I understand.
It's been a very long weekend. Yes.
There we go.
Bring up some energy. What do you think of our episodes this week?
I liked them. The first one was fine.
Yeah.
As most Superman episodes are. But I love this Batman episode.
It's a really good one, yeah. I've always loved Scarecrow.
It has a lot of questions that I want to bring up to you.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I like questions.
Mm-hmm.
All right, but first, what's happened in the world of news?
It's a good question.
You said you... You said you had
I'm
news.
keeping up a character, Chris. I have two kind of pieces of news. The first one...
Only kind of pieces of news?
The first one's kind of news.
Okay.
I don't know if you saw, but the Black Panther pre-sales...
Oh, yeah, I did see this.
It is the largest pre-sale of any Marvel movie to date.
Super excited.
Which is awesome. Yeah, we just have a couple more weeks until that.
We should get tickets.
We probably should.
Yeah. Shit, I didn't think about that.
Right. Yeah, I had
Planning ahead.
One of my coworkers sent me the article that said like how many tickets had already been sold. And
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, that's cool. I don't have any yet.
Yeah, we should get on that.
Yeah.
Shit, we should get on that.
That's fine. The other news, which I'm sure you saw and are also as excited as I am, is we're getting a Teen Titans Go movie.
I already knew about that, though.
Oh, we got the trailer.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It was kind of a fun trailer, though.
It was.
They're all dressed up as Wonder Woman.
Yeah, that was really fun.
Robin's annoyed. I don't know. I've never watched Teen Titans Go, so I don't know enough about it to know if I should be excited or not.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like it's self-aware and self-referential, which could be kind of fun.
Did I ever send you the clip of when they became too self-aware and
Oh no, I don't think so.
it was like a 5-minute clip from some episode. I've only seen snippets of the show, but they're fighting Control Freak, the guy who like puts them in TVs and video games and stuff. And he's like, "You're in a show right now that I'm controlling. You're being watched, and if you don't do what I say, I'm gonna get you canceled like I got you canceled before."
Oh my god!
And like, what are you talking about? And they show a montage of the original Teen Titans series.
What?
Yeah, and then it cuts to the new characters, and they're like, "We used to be so cool. You got rid of that?" It's like, I did, and some executives. And I'm like, oh, they're getting too self-aware.
Oh my god, that's pretty fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
I should watch that clip. I think you did send me the clip of all the Robins.
Yeah, the Robins are great.
The Robins, that was pretty good. I feel like there's got to be. It looks like it's kind of a fun show. So maybe I
Mm-hmm.
should check it out at some point.
I mean, I'll most likely see the movie.
Yeah.
Just because it's Teen Titans.
It's Teen Titans. We should probably go see it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I don't think I ever actually finished the original show.
Well, you might feel that way because they started a season with one episode and then ended the season.
Well, that's shit right there.
It's still burns, Chris.
Oh yeah, because
still burns
we've
a
talked
lot.
about this. Didn't they tease?
They
return?
brought back Tara, Chris.
And there it goes.
They
Yeah.
brought back Tara, and they dangled her in front of my face. And as I reached out, they didn't just rip her away. They slapped me in the face, and they backhanded me with a new villain, which is super cool. And they said, nope. Oh, and then Slade comes back, which is just like a nice little uppercut and a middle finger. And they're like, oh, yeah, you want to see more of this? Well, too bad, because we're not making any more.
Oh, my God.
Here's a movie that has nothing to do with the story. They go to Tokyo and fight a comic book artist. Enjoy it. It's a good movie, but it doesn't fill the hole.
I love that even as you're complaining about how terrible all their decisions were, you're still approving the things they did. Like, it was awful. But this was good, though.
But it was still fine. And if they just would have ended it on the last episode of Titans Together, the last episode of season 5, when it's the full force, they're all fighting the Brotherhood of Evil. Mm-hmm. That's such a good ending.
Well, why don't you just pretend that's the ending?
Because I've already seen the episode, Chris. I can't unsee it. I don't have the mind device that I've been pitching since the Last Jedi podcast, where I can just erase that from my mind.
Just do what I do sometimes and just decide where a show ends. Kind of like how, in my mind, Californication ended at the end of season 4, which is a perfect ending. Do you know I like that show, by the way? Have I ever mentioned that to you? That I'm a fan of it? Yeah, I like to pretend that it ended at season 4. And
Are there 3 more seasons, though?
Yeah. And
Yeah.
those are all fine, but like season 4 is a perfect ending. So in my mind, it just kind of ends there.
Yeah.
Ends good.
But it's not a cliffhanger with 3 things.
It's not a cliffhanger per se, but
You didn't care for
has
David
that-
Duchovny like I cared for Tara.
I don't know if that's true, actually. I modeled more of myself than I should have off of that character, which is probably for the worst. He may be the main reasoning behind most of my wardrobe. Considering I'm literally wearing a black V-neck right now.
It's all right.
It's the only thing I wear. Well, I'm sorry. I'm sorry Teen Titans scarred you as such.
It did.
Maybe we can go and watch Teen Titans Go the movie. Or no, Go to the movies?
No, let's go with the movie.
Okay, I thought there was some weird, clever play on words in the title.
Yeah, I thought they would too, but they didn't.
Okay, whatever then. Well, maybe we'll go see that, and then it'll bring warm feelings back. Yogi, calm down, buddy. All right.
But those are my news. What news
Okay.
do you have?
Um,
Probably more important news.
I did see that Bruce Timm has said that he wants to do Red Sun as one of the next DC animated films. So it wasn't a confirmation that this is what they're going to do next, but it was him saying like I really want to do this one, and I really hope they do because you did read this one.
I read that one.
You've read that one, yes. I forced you to read it.
Yep.
I think that would make a great animated film.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, I think it's like just the right amount. It's just the right length. It's got the right amount of characters. It's an amazing story. It's very visual. I really want to see that. So I'm really hoping they do it. I've also heard so far good things about Gotham by Gaslight.
That's good.
Yeah, because I'm a little bit behind. I forget. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, I still need to catch up on the animated films.
Yeah, I'm a little bit behind. So there was that, and then also I guess Mark Strong confirmed that he's playing Dr. Sivana, the villain in Shazam.
Oh.
Do you know who Mark Strong is?
Yes, he was Sinestro.
He was Sinestro. Yeah, he was.
I was trying to. I made
well-
that face
well
because I was
done.
trying to make a joke about them trying to bring back Sinestro, and I couldn't.
Oh yeah,
come up with it in
he
time.
kind of like poked fun at that himself. He's like, yeah, I got to be Sinestro, and like, although I liked the film, it didn't get the reaction everyone wanted, and I felt like it wasn't quite done with DC, so I'm back to do Dr. Sivana. And I don't know much about that character. I feel like he's popped up in a few things in really small roles that I've read. I think he pops up in the DCAU and JLU.
Okay.
I think that seems to ring a bell somehow. But I love Mark Strong.
Yeah.
Like, he's great. We talked about it. Kingsman 2 was not great, but he's great in it. It's because of him that whenever I think of John Denver's Country Roads Take Me Home, I sing it in a Scottish accent.
Yeah.
And yeah.
It's a big year for that last year too.
It was. It popped up everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like,
It was just around Channing Tatum though.
that's true, because it was in Golden Circle. It was in Logan Lucky, which I did not see, which I need to go watch.
Really?
I know. I really
We
want to
didn't
go
see
watch it.
together? I saw it 3 times.
No, I didn't see it. No,
Oh,
I
wow.
really want to. I've heard mixed things, but I've heard that Daniel Craig is great in it.
Oh,
And
yeah,
for
I
that
highly
alone-
recommend
For
the
that
movie.
alone, I want to see that. I know John Denver. I don't know if that song popped up in Alien Covenant, but I know John Denver popped up there. It was a big year for John Denver, 2017.
Yeah.
He's dead, right?
I didn't know his name until you said it just a minute ago.
Said it several times in a row.
Yep.
I think he's dead. Doesn't really matter. But yeah, love Mark Strong. Excited for that. I'm hopeful for that movie.
Yeah, he's a great actor.
I still kind of wish we would just go ahead and put Black Adam in there. But I will say this. Maybe it's for the best, because as much as I love The Rock, anytime he's on screen, he is incredibly charismatic. I feel like he might be getting too demanding a little bit. I feel like if they were to put him into that movie, too much of it would be about him.
Yeah.
Like, he's positioned himself to be bigger than maybe some of his characters need to be. So maybe it's for the best he's not in there.
Well, yeah, that brings up a great point with how you think he's going to interact with the Suicide Squad cast.
I mean, that's already... Ugh.
I know.
That is a movie already packed with people who were too demanding about their screen time. Mostly Will Smith, let's be honest. Like, Margot Robbie, as flawed as that version of Harley is, deserved every second of on-screen time she had.
She was the saving grace.
Yeah. She made that movie, I was going to say work. That's too generous. She's good in that. You know what? And I actually
She
really
made
like,
that movie a movie.
a movie. I actually like Captain Boomerang a lot in that too. He's kind of a scene stealer.
Yeah.
But you know, I like Deadshot as a character. I actually even like, for the most part, Will Smith's version of it. But just we didn't need that much of him in the movie.
Right.
Like, he's also kind of
He didn't need the opening and ending scene.
No, he didn't. I feel like it would have been more interesting to have him be kind of a B character. Like, I think that's something I think that's kind of one of the challenges he's facing is that he's at the point now where he could be a really good supporting character, but he won't let himself be one.
Can we take a minute to just talk about Will Smith for
Sure,
just
Cameron.
because I need to talk to someone about this.
Let me just settle into my chair, get a little comfortable. I got plenty of water. Go right
Is
ahead.
it? Why won't he do a comedy anymore? If you look at his,
I don't know.
because it's the same thing when people joke about Adam Sandler, and I don't want any way to compare Sandler to Smith, but people have been joking recently with how many movies Sandler has made and how many are successes. Are the 90s his flop, or has he just been on a bad streak since Click? Or not flop. Are the 90s like
again a fluke?
Yes, that's the word.
Fluke, not a flop. I think he is genuinely very talented. We're talking about Adam Sandler right now.
Yes.
Okay. I think Adam Sandler is genuinely very talented. I've heard really good things about him in the Meyerowitz stories, which is the Neil Baumbach film on Netflix. Haven't watched it. I do want to go sit down and watch it at some point. I've heard he's really good in that. I've heard Punch Drunk Love is great, although I haven't seen it. So I think he is someone who does have genuine talent. I think he probably just likes making movies. He probably just likes making movies with his friends.
Yeah.
You know, especially when half of them like, hey, we're going to go to Hawaii and shoot for like 4 months with your best friends. Like,
It's a paid vacation.
it's a paid vacation. You mean, you know, there's something to be said about trying to like have some sort of integrity, but at the same time, if you have found a niche that kind of works for you, and apparently all of his Netflix movies have actually done pretty well, even though they all have looked for the most part really stupid. I guess it's probably just what he likes to do, how he likes to spend his time, and I guess that's him. I'm also being a little bit defensive of him because I've heard he's actually like super, super nice.
That's good.
Never met him, but I've heard good things.
Because I compare that to Smith.
Yeah.
Has he been in a good movie since Pursuit of Happiness?
I actually haven't seen The Pursuit of Happiness, but
Really?
I've heard he's
that
good. I've
movie
heard he's good in it.
It hurt me.
What has he?
Because that was 2004-ish.
Yeah. Okay. That's like. Did you
It
watch
was
Bright?
Hancock. I did watch Blight, and that's why I'm bringing this point up.
Bright. Yeah.
Should have been Blight.
Should have played.
Yes, I did watch Bright.
How was it? I've heard it's bad, but it did really well for Netflix.
It's a movie that it's such an interesting story that just was not done well. It was so in your face with the racism.
Yeah,
where like I almost felt like there was just a lower third that popped up at points in time that's like, orcs are acting this way because they're the black people of this universe.
Yeah, I've heard it's really obvious.
Yeah.
And that it's basically not even like allegorical.
It's
like
not.
there's no subtext. It's just like, here it is.
It's literally that.
Yeah. So let's see. He did. Oh yeah, this ain't looking good.
I Am Legend was after Pursuit of Happiness, right?
He's good. I liked I Am
Yeah.
Legend. Yeah. So let's see.
I'm trying to think of the last
Go ahead
one
and
that I
reverse. We got Bright, Collateral Beauty,
Yeah.
Suicide Squad, Concussion.
No.
Didn't see it, but I heard it was, I think, fine for what it is. Focus, which was like the...
I did like that. I forgot about
I've
that
heard-
movie.
I've
Him
heard-
and
I've
Margot
heard it wasn't
Robbie as con men.
amazing, but I've heard it's fun. I've heard they have to work really hard to dance around the fact that they're at the Super Bowl because they can't actually say the word Super Bowl.
Oh, I don't remember that.
Okay, yeah. What's Winter's Tale?
I have no idea.
Oh, he was in Anchorman too. He was one of the
that's
the
true.
news fight in the end. Oh, Winter's Tale was it's a Colin Farrell movie directed by Akiva Goldsman. Well, there we go. We're done with that immediately. After Earth, Men in Black 3. I liked him in Men in Black 3.
Oh, I guess I forgot about the Men in Black 3. Yeah.
Men in Black 3 is actually really good. And he's really funny in it.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's just maybe he just really wants to get more into the serious stuff.
But I feel like he
did Hitch. I mean,
Yeah,
that
but
was
that was
10 years ago now.
exactly.
But I mean, that was good. For
Yeah.
what it was.
I feel like since then, with out with not thinking about Men in Black 3, he hasn't really been in a comedy.
No, he hasn't.
And I wonder if that's his choice of wanting to be a more serious actor, or if that's when people write things for him, they write it for the Fresh Prince. Or
Maybe
like
that's
if
it.
they, because I don't know. If anyone has any connection to Will Smith and they want to be,
help us figure it out. I mean, well, because if you look back at most of his career, it's kind of a mixture of action movie where he plays like a humorous, charismatic lead, a more like action thriller where that doesn't always work quite as well, and then the occasional smattering of serious stuff. Like I've never seen The Legend of Bagger Vance, but I've heard that's good. I mean, like Independence Day, Men in Black, those are all Wild Wild West. That's a dumb fucking film, but I always really enjoy it.
Great song though.
It is a great song.
It's a 2-hour music video.
Yeah, see, sometimes that's what you got to think about these things. 2-hour music video. Oh, plus it's got Kevin Kline, who can do no wrong. It's Mr. Fish Odor. He's amazing. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I feel like Suicide Squad could have been the thing that we had been hoping for. It could have been him being fun in a fun action movie.
Yeah.
But I think that just got bogged down in the heaviness. And again, if maybe he hadn't been one of the dramatic leads, like if it had been a story more about Harley and Joker had been the main villain and he had been kind of going along for that ride, I think it maybe could have worked a little bit better.
Yeah.
I don't know, because I think he's super talented. I think
he's an actor that's still, even with his like imperfect resume.
Yeah.
He is. I feel like if you put his name on it, it is an instant success or box office hit. I'll put it that way.
I mean, not the serious stuff though. I mean, like I don't think 7 Pounds did very well. I don't think Focus did great. No one saw Concussion. Really, nobody saw Collateral Beauty.
That's true.
I think that's the problem. I think if it's a drama, people don't really associate him as a dramatic actor. I mean, look at how well Bright did. I mean, if you think about it, actually, that makes a lot of sense. It's Will Smith. I mean, it's a thriller. It's dramatic. It's David Ayer. But it's still like a high-concept action sci-fi sort of thing with him at the front of it. It makes sense that it would do well on Netflix because people will be at home being like, oh, that's what I want to watch.
Yeah.
Like, when I think about what most audiences will do to, like, go see a movie, I think, like, my family, who, like, basically will never go to the theater ever and just watch whatever, like, garbage circles around them on Netflix. That's what they watch.
Hi, Chris's parents. I hope they're listening.
They don't listen. Wes listens. But he
Okay.
knows what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So, and he's way behind.
Okay.
It's fine. He'll catch up to this in, like, several weeks.
For next Thanksgiving.
Exactly, yeah. So, I don't know. Maybe we'll get something. Well, hang on. We got some movie here he's coming up in called Spies in Disguise.
That sounds okay.
He's the voice in it, so it must be...
great.
Animated? Oh, it's animated.
Okay, I'm down.
Tom Holland's in it.
Oh, we like him.
God, I do love Tom Holland. What studio is doing this?
It's not Blue Sky.
It's Blue Sky.
Damn it. So it's a Disney film.
Yeah, well, now at this point, yeah. So, and he's doing Aladdin too, so.
That's true.
Yeah.
Which is also under some fire right now.
Oh, yeah, because they're like spray painting
They're
white
actors.
extras. Man, they really did a good job avoiding that kind of controversy during major casting. And it's come back around. Well,
Yeah.
Well done, guys.
You know what? It's whatever.
I don't know.
Disney.
It'll be an interesting one. I mean,
As I wear my Aladdin shirt.
We'll see it.
Oh yeah, that's not a question.
Yeah, we have to.
Yeah.
I think at this point, out of curiosity, morbid curiosity.
I mean, I feel like I have to for work.
Yeah, that's probably true. Actually, you probably do.
Yeah. Oh well.
I'll probably see it.
So now we've wasted 20 minutes.
20 minutes talking about the career of Will Smith.
Yeah.
Should we talk about Warrior Queen?
I'm ready to talk
our
about
Superman episode this week.
The knockoff Wonder Woman.
Yeah. So this
Who is not, let me say this real quick. She is not fit to be a queen in any sense. Even at the end of the episode, I'm like,
no.
This bitch better hand off her power into some kind of presidential election.
This is what I found surprising about this episode, because I don't know if I ever actually saw this one originally when it aired. I don't remember this one at least. So the character that we're dealing with here is Maxima, who her whole big thing is that she sees Superman as the one suitor that actually befits her, because she is admittedly a really powerful, badass warrior. And everyone she goes up to fight to try and prove their mettle sucks. So she decides Superman's going to be her guy. Now, there was some fun stuff in here. I liked having someone who's just so blatantly sexually aggressive to Superman because he doesn't know what to do with that. Which I guess Lana was kind of that way a little bit too.
Yeah. Princess Mandy, that's who it is.
Princess Mandy?
Sorry. There's a character in Fairly Odd Parents that's a parody of Maxima.
That name sounded familiar, but I was like...
named that girl, named Princess Mandy, who's in love with...
Oh my god, yes.
With Mark Chang, the alien that lands on Earth.
Yes! I forgot about this.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so good.
She is an exact parody, because I've listened to a few interviews with Buttartman. He says a lot of his side characters are taken from Superman, Batman, Star Wars.
Oh, that's so man, he's the best.
Isn't he?
Oh my god. Yeah, I remember Princess Manda. Yeah, Maxima's basically that too. She's just kind of a child.
Oh, she absolutely. And they bring that up a lot. I think they make her look older than she is because I think she's supposed to be like 16.
I mean, I guess
the way that they talk about her and to her and how she acts, she's very much like 16 to 18.
See, I would put her in her like mid to late 20s.
Really?
Yeah, just like an emotionally stunted mid to late 20s.
Okay.
She's a space princess, man.
That's true.
They're always, unless you're Princess Leia, all space princesses are like they're like space princes. They're all just a little juvenile.
That's true.
But I did think it was interesting because they almost, at times, they kind of veer towards giving her a little bit more depth and a little bit more, it's weird to say humanity, but I feel like every time they skirt towards that and they veer away from it.
Right.
Like, even, so, because her Sasu.
Zazu is the assistant / handmaiden.
I guess handmaiden. Yeah, I feel like she has more responsibility than just a handmaiden.
They needed to just like say everyone's name at the very beginning of the episode because taking notes on this was very difficult.
Very hard. I don't remember her first suit or the guy's name. I just know it's Miguel Ferrer does the voice.
I keep
thinking of him.
Decine and Zazu and Maxima on the planet. Almanac.
On the planet Almanac. Not Almanac.
Yeah, because I like that joke.
That was a good joke. Yeah,
because that sounds like something they had in like the table read.
Yeah.
And I feel like the voice actor kept saying Almanac.
Yeah, throw it in.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, because Zazu, she's right. Like, so she sides with, what's his name? Miguel Ferrer. She sides with Miguel Ferrer.
Decine
decides with Decine to replace Maxima because Maxima is basically like shirking her responsibilities as a queen. And so Zazu goes along with this coup out of the hopes of bringing in a more effective leader. She's right.
And the people agree with her. There's a line in there that says, Maxima comes back like, the people will never stand for this. Like, the people are behind us.
Yeah.
We have successfully taken over. You are not in power anymore.
It was completely bloodless. They're just like, it didn't quite make sense. So
Zazu called her a spoiled, self-interested brat only focused on finding a mate.
That sounds about right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Because, so, I always want to call him Darcy. What's his name?
Decine.
So Darcy.
Yep.
They show Maxima a clip of Superman to get her to leave.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
But wouldn't they expect her to eventually come back?
Well, I think her leaving, because they did say that she had a council meeting, and she's like, fuck that, I'm going to go find this boy.
Yeah.
I think they were using her leaving as, not leverage, but...
like justification?
Yes.
Okay.
For the people. Like, your queen has fled the planet when we've needed her to go find a mate. She is not fit to rule anymore. We have this guy who is here. We know he is powerful. He will lead our people and he will serve the people and not be served by the people, as Superman put so elegantly.
Okay. So their plan was just for her to go and then take over, and then I guess again when she came back,
like I said, it was a bloodless coup.
Yeah.
So it was them taking over while she was gone. So when she comes back, the people are already kind of adjusted to the new way of life.
Okay.
Even though it seems like a day has passed.
Yeah, I think if that. So she comes back, and then of course Darcy just throws them into the pit along with Zazu because he's an asshole.
Right.
But I really wanted
because anyone with that facial bone structure has to be a villain.
Oh, absolutely. He reminds me of Radigan.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's very Radigan-esque.
Mm-hmm. Radigan Radigan the what?
The world's greatest criminal mind.
Oh, I thought it was something else. Okay. But you don't call him a rat.
Well, no, don't.
You don't call him a rat.
Don't call him that.
Yeah.
No. You see what happens. Felicia. So God damn it. So she comes back, they throw her in the pit, and Superman saves her from Maxima. Maxima tries to kill Zazu.
Mm-hmm.
I was waiting this end of the episode for Maxima to apologize, to acknowledge that Sasu was right, to make an effort to be a better queen. Because there's a moment when she's like, all right, Sasu, go ahead and throw him down in the dungeons. Go down there yourself and take care of it. And it's like, that's a way of being like, hey, we're cool. But also, you should probably acknowledge the fact that she was absolutely right about your terrible leadership.
Yeah, I know. That's what I was waiting for. Because, like, at the end, Superman deserves to rule this planet.
Yeah, he'd be a much more effective leader.
Yeah.
And
As we saw in Red Sun.
As we saw in Red Sun, he'd be a more effective leader to a point.
Yes.
And I mean, I like the kind of joke it ends on with Lobo crashing in.
I love that. Now, I was not expecting that. Because I wrote down who I thought she should hook up with.
Who'd you write down?
Who were
Batman.
Yes,
Yeah.
always.
Oh, I mean, imagine if she had found Batman.
Oh, no. I don't.
Because she would have been even more so excited.
Yeah.
Understandably so.
No, I wrote down, I never remember their names. It was the two guys that come to Earth and fight over Lois.
The two guys that
It's in, I want to say, All-Star Superman.
Oh, it's like Apollo.
Is it Apollo and Hercules? It's. I feel like they're both Greek names.
Yes. I vaguely recall
even though
that.
technically Apollo is Roman.
Oh, wow. Thank you for the correction. I've only ever read All-Star once, and I've seen the movie once. But I think I know which guys you're talking about. That would have been interesting.
Yeah. So, because I made the joke of like, oh, Superman needs to start up his own like galactic dating show. And then when Lobo came in, I'm like, nope, I'm wrong. It's always Lobo. Lobo gets all of them.
I mean, it was a fun joke to end the whole thing on, but then I also felt like it prevented Maxima from actually getting a real arc. Which I feel like that should be the point of these episodes, where the focus isn't really on Superman.
Samson and Atlantis.
Samson and Atlas. Well, I was close-ish.
Both Greek, still.
Okay, see, you're close.
Right? Samson? Is Samson Greek? Atlas is Greek. Sorry, just going to keep researching.
You're the one who knows. You know these things.
Where's Basilius?
Basilius!
Hey, guys.
Yeah. Yeah, I would have liked to see a little bit more out of this. I feel like she's an interesting character and she's fun. She's got a fun on-screen dynamic with Superman, but it was a lot of still just generic stuff too. They have to fight that like the Carnarite or whatever, that big multi-tentacled monster.
Not tentacles; those are tongues.
Okay, multi-tongued monster.
Yes.
I've never really been a big fan of their just general monster design. Like, there's a very specific aesthetic, and it's always just a little bit too weird, and it's never really worked for me.
It's always just kind of boring.
Yeah.
It's very generic.
Would you have done something different in this episode to make it a little bit punchier, to maybe get it outside of the meh into the meh?
Make her a princess, not a queen.
Okay.
And
make her a Disney princess.
Yes. Have her just be Jasmine.
Yeah. She's basically... She could be Merida.
She could be Merida. I don't need no man.
Yeah.
That could be one. She has to prove... That could be a great point, actually.
Yeah,
Make her
they
the
could
Merida
give her the plot
storyline.
of the Princess Diaries, too.
I mean, sure. I was going to say, instead of the king and queen tell her that she has to find a suitor, she says she will only find a suitor that is more powerful than her. So her quest is to defeat everyone that is presented to her. Superman is the last man presented to her. And then there's the coup. And then she sees that he's stronger, but he's also more knowledgeable. And so she takes his wisdom to become a better ruler in the future.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So that's more like the plot of Brave, but expanded in just the right kind of way.
Right.
Yeah. I agree. I think that would have made this much more interesting. Like, I think these offshoot episodes that feature a character that interacts with Superman more so than it's about Superman, I feel like it should be about how Superman changes them. It's
right.
Like, even
that's what Steel is all about.
Steel's all about. Yeah, it's like he was inspired by Superman, and he's going to go out of his way to be a hero like him too. And I think those are the interesting stories. And I think that's one of the reasons why Superman's more interesting when he's not in a vacuum, is because it's interesting to see how people relate to being inspired by someone like him. Sometimes they decide to kill him and then almost succeed and realize it was a bad idea, and then all of a sudden now he's like a beacon of hope.
Or here's the other storyline. Darcy is the leader of the religious group, and Maxima is the real royalty. The church takes over, and Maxima just blows them up.
You know what? And I think for some visual interest,
It has to be green flame.
green fire, a massive green fire. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that'd be really good.
And then she has a kid, and the kid kills himself.
Yeah. I wonder if we can get Jonathan Pryce in there to be the voice. I love Miguel Ferrer, but let's swap him out for Jonathan Pryce.
Yeah.
Just get that rich voice.
It's that real original story.
I'm so down for that. My phone's going off. Yeah, no, I agree with you. I think this had a potential to be something a little bit more interesting, but it's fine.
Yeah.
I don't know if I would put it on my short list.
No,
of
I don't
like
think
episodes
so.
you really got to sit down and watch. But yeah, it's fine. But I do have to say though, I'm glad we've structured it this way because now we get to go on to a Batman episode and a really good Batman episode. I'd say too. I mean, so this one it's Never Fear and it's a pretty simple plot line. It's just that the Scarecrow, rather than holding the city ransom with fear, is going to hold the ransom with the absence.
Yeah, and that's
fear.
that's a great idea.
It's very clever,
and there's so much to dissect with that idea, which is really interesting. Of like, because people, the way they plot not having fear is not having like half of your emotions really, because they lose compassion, sympathy. What was the other one I wrote down? Damn it! Hold on, sorry. Apps
like kind
are
of
wrong.
common sense.
Yeah,
but that's a good point. That they do lose compassion and sympathy. Yeah,
remorse.
Yes.
Caution. That was the other one. Of like, Batman isn't Batman anymore.
No.
And he's always been the character. Like his one of his ideas is he lives without fear.
Yeah.
He instills fear. And it kind of didn't make sense that when he actually lost fear, that he would become this reckless monster.
How do you think he should have changed with a lack of
No,
fear?
I mean, I just wanted to ask you, like, do you think fear is what controls, is the center point of all of these emotions? There's always the idea that like there's only two real emotions and everything is just a branch of that. It's like, what is it? Joy and fear are the two main emotions. Everything's a branch. Because fear controls sadness, anger.
I don't know. Have I ever shown you my emotional Venn diagram?
No.
Oh, it's just one circle is angry, one circle is horny, and the middle is blue balls.
There you go.
Yeah, that's the grand extent of my emotional range. But no, I mean, I
hate to know where this podcast is.
Yeah, exactly. You don't want to know. I think that does make a lot of sense. Like because fear really does drive a lot more. Like it's very easy to think of fear as being a negative motivator, and to keep holding you back from things. But you're right. I mean, it does, it does trigger things like compassion and caution, and it makes you go like, well, maybe I shouldn't say this because I'd be afraid that I would hurt someone.
Right. It really shows, which is kind of a bleak way of looking at this. It shows how many emotions that we think are helpful are more self-serving, because it's a thing that I kind of realized this weekend when trying to help someone or someone's trying to help you. How they phrase their wording is, someone said like, "I'm sorry, I can't help you."
Yeah.
Instead of focusing on like, "I'm sorry you're having to go through that."
Yeah.
It's focusing on like, I can't, like, I feel bad that I can't help you because then you will be thankful for me, and not you are having to go through that and I have nothing to do with it.
Yeah. No, I mean that
It's kind of a sidestep, but
I kind of see what you're saying. Yeah, that in a lot of ways, it's really about, even like altruistic things are still kind of about the person. Yeah, who's saying sort of stuff.
which I don't fully agree with. I think this episode took it to a bit of an extreme, which is fine. It's a cartoon. It's understandable.
It did, yeah. I mean, because it did basically just make Batman become very reckless. So, the first way we really see that is they're out in the Batwing, and he's just flying like a madman, which it's a good visual way to represent that, probably because it looks really damn good.
Yeah.
That whole sequence just looked really, really gorgeous. There's actually a number of really nice shots in here, too. Like at one point when Robin ties up Batman to stop him from bringing up the Scarecrow, and they're kind of going back and forth. At one point, they cut to a super wide shot, and it's the two of them in silhouette on the rooftop with the red sky behind them.
Yeah.
Really beautiful.
Yeah. They really went above and beyond with this episode.
Yeah.
What we
You have a
Scarecrow
point.
is fucking terrifying in this.
I
hate this look because
What?
it scares me. If
It
I would have
is-
watched this as a kid, I would hate Batman if I saw this as a kid. Because this
love
Scarecrow
this.
would have given me nightmares for years.
So I was a kid and I watched this. I loved it.
Oh,
I
no.
thought it was.
I couldn't
so,
watch Jumanji as a kid,
so
Chris.
creepy.
If I saw
That
this,
is shocking. How could you not watch Jumanji as a kid?
oh, I was scared that lions were going to come in my bedroom.
That's fair.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you know, the reasonable thing for someone from Dallas to fear.
Oh, I've told you my most irrational fear, right?
I don't think so.
Have I not? I feel like I've even talked about this.
Should we talk about it on air?
No, we should actually talk about it. So this episode's all about fear. My most irrational fear is that I'm going to approach an empty street. I'm going to look left. I'm going to look right. The road's going to be empty. I know I'm good to walk. I'm going to walk 4 to 5 feet, and a DeLorean's going to come out of nowhere at 88 miles an hour and run me over.
Amazing. Amazing. That's a great fear to have,
There is not a
especially with how many DeLoreans are still on the street.
Hey, I've seen 2. There's one in this neighborhood.
Have you seen a DeLorean that isn't a Back to the Future DeLorean?
I have seen just a normal DeLorean. I have not, because you saw the Back to the Future DeLorean.
I've seen it a few
At
times.
Disney, a few times. Okay.
Yeah, I've seen it at Disneyland, in a Disneyland parking lot.
Yeah.
Which was very odd. I
Very
saw
bizarre.
it at WonderCon
Okay.
last year.
Oh, okay.
And I saw
yeah.
it twice at Comic-Con, at
Okay.
San Diego Con.
See, that makes sense. I actually haven't come across that one in person. But no, there's actually a guy just like over on like Hollywood Boulevard and Fairfax, like right there, who's got one just sitting in his driveway. The 2.5 years that I've lived here, it's never moved. I don't think it runs at this point. It's just basically sitting there and like just like accumulating dirt and rust and stuff. It makes me really sad.
Well, honestly, because it is a time machine, it could be moving a lot, and it just returns at the exact
That's
moment.
true. I don't even notice.
Yeah.
I mean, I was about to say, how does he get to 80 miles an hour? But we've already established.
He returns at the moment.
You don't
right
need
at-
roads.
Yeah.
So it's fine.
Where we're going, Chris, we don't need roads. Especially not in LA, because you're not getting on any roads.
You know,
that's
you're
gonna
not
get you to 88
going to
miles an
anywhere.
hour.
No. Also, I had this thought today. I never realized this before. I'm pretty sure that Hill Valley is meant to be a joke in of itself.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's inherently like contrary.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, it sounds like the sort of a town that would be made up about. Like, it sounds like a made up LA.
Oh, yeah,
Like
exactly.
LA area, like California town. That is neither here nor there. But that is my most irrational fear. And I swear to God, there's not a single time I've crossed the street where that part of my brain hasn't like clicked in real fast.
Just like, DeLorean, okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
This will get a family photo. I'm like, I'm not fading yet.
Not fading yet. I guess I'm okay.
The street's okay to cross.
God damn it. Yeah, super irrational fear. But yeah, so for Batman in this case, he's no longer afraid of killing. That's basically what Timm comes to realize.
Yeah.
And I think that makes sense because I think Batman, I don't know if they ever say it in the DCAU. I know it's popped up somewhere. But the thing is if he crosses that line, he knows he will never go back.
Right.
That's a definitive thing for him. And so that it's the fear there comes with the fact that if he crosses that line, he will become the very monster he tries to fight, but he will have also failed in his mission to his parents.
Right.
And that's at the end of the day, that is the only thing that motivates him.
Mm-hmm. We saw that a lot in the first season.
Yeah.
And it'd be BTOS.
Yeah. I forget who says it and when. I feel like it's, what it is? It's Dick Grayson says it in one of the Batman Beyond comics. So it's loosely set in the DCAU continuity, but there's been a whole series of comics that came after that, like 10,000 Clowns and Batgirl Beyond. It's really good. I've been meaning to go back and finish it out at some point.
Yeah.
But in that, we finally get to see what happens to Dick Grayson, basically in the DCAU continuity. It's not good. And he really hates Bruce.
But how's his butt?
Oh, it's still amazing. And someone even comments on it, actually. Like, I think it's they introduce also like Catwoman Beyond, the Beyond version of Catwoman.
Oh, that's interesting.
And she makes a comment about, it's like, oh, you're looking pretty good for an old guy there.
Yeah.
That butt never dies.
Never.
And he says to Terry, he's like, the only people Bruce ever cared about were his parents. Like, don't trick yourself into thinking he cares about you.
Oh, that's really sad.
It's really sad. Also kind of true.
It's so true.
It is pretty true. Yeah, so I think that's the fear, is that he'll let down his parents if he gives in. So, but it's fun to then watch Robin having to go up against his mentor, because also they haven't known each other for that long yet. Really, like, this version of Robin is still pretty untrained.
Yeah, and they bring that point up very briefly when when Bruce's secretary is like, the kid's back.
Yeah, or like, oh, I got another surprise for you.
Yeah. She still doesn't really like him.
Yeah,
like isn't used to him, I guess. So that kind
of
shows.
Lot. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, because he doesn't have Dick's polish. Because he was in the circus, but he, his parents were still like super supportive and loving, and like, I think he had a bit more kind of etiquette than this version of Timm, who is street kid.
Right. I wish they would have. They played on it for like a very brief moment, but I wish they would have made Timm more reckless in the first half. Like he would have done something crazy. Like he would have jumped after the guy who jumped off the building, and like Batman had to save both of them, or like something in the office, because he was already doing a one-armed handstand on the chair.
On the chair. But you're right. That would have been interesting to see him think that's in his mind. Batman doesn't have fear, because he says that in the end.
Yeah,
like, I always kind of saw you as fearless, and Batman's point is that you need a little bit of that to kind of keep you grounded. So yeah, that would have been fun to see him think that what he had to do to be good at his job was to be fearless. And the reality is, like, it's to be grounded and real. But what did you think of the interrogation scene when Batman throws the guy out the window on the cable and slowly starts cutting the line?
Oh, that was a lot.
What do you mean a lot?
It was great.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was a lot to kind of process. Like, that's not my Batman.
But it's so good. It's
good.
Really, really good. Because I've always even sometimes felt like his interrogation techniques are maybe a little more effective than they should be. But that one you really believe.
Yeah.
That he's actually going to like let this guy die.
Oh, he does. He leaves him.
That's true. Yeah, he would have died if Robin hadn't jumped out there and grabbed him. I guess, how high was that building?
Tall enough. I mean, he was falling on his head.
That's true, actually, yeah. I mean, he could have fallen on his back.
That's true. What I was kind of surprised is the villains weren't fearless. I would have liked to see one villain also be fearless.
Hit with it, and when like when they're fighting in the train.
Also, in the subway train, are you allowed to open windows? Because there were a lot of open windows in that subway train, and I feel like that would be very loud.
They do seem like,
because that's a lot of noise echoing.
I feel like I've been on a subway train that had at least vents. That was open far too far, because then you could easily like hop out of there. But I feel like I've seen like open vents on. I feel like in Paris they had open cars. I don't remember.
I don't know.
It's been a while. Yeah, too big though.
Yeah,
windows are too big. But yeah, that would have been fun to see one of the villains like try to like be fearless, go up against Batman, because he only really operates. His like main operating thing is fear.
Yeah, because that was what I was expecting when he threw the guy off. Because the guy's like, "I can't tell you." I was expecting to like, "Because I'm not scared of you." Was the line. Then he was gonna cut the rope, and then then Robin would have to save him.
So okay, I got a question for you. Do you think they could have done this episode in the original BTOS run, knowing how limited they were at times, but how violent they could get?
Yeah, I think so. I don't think it would have been
because so
I think they could have done it.
What I'm getting at there is obviously Batman never threatens to kill anybody, nor does he ever attempt to kill someone. He attempts to kill someone here, and it's only through Robin that doesn't happen. Do you think that with the slightly more strict regulations they had during the Fox era, they could have gotten away with something like this? Because this feels like a sort of BTOS episode of like taking something we know very well about a villain and turning it on its head and really grounding it in character. Right. It's BTOS style writing.
I guess at that point, then no, they couldn't have gotten away with something like that. I feel like the Scarecrow he was a lot more manipulative in BTOS, where it was a lot more like it was more psychedelic when you were fighting him.
Okay, that's fair.
And
Yeah.
this version of Scarecrow is much more kind of upfront about it.
This beyond just the design, I really like this version of the Scarecrow because he is much more sinister. He has, to my knowledge, one other appearance in the new Batman Adventures, and it's one of my all-time favorite episodes.
Okay.
And he's very effective in that. I think this might be one of the things that helped me fall in love with that character. This, and then of course Batman Begins.
Yeah.
Which I mean that's got to be one of the best executions of a Batman villain ever, right?
Oh, absolutely. Up until Joker, I think that was my favorite live action Batman villain.
Yeah, because I even like the way they.
Do I like it more than Jack Nicholson? I think so.
I think Jack Nicholson works very well in that movie, kind of in the same way that Michelle Pfeiffer works very well in Batman Returns. I love her. I don't just love her in general, but especially in Batman Returns. But I would argue that actually Anne Hathaway's Catwoman is a better execution of that character on screen.
Yeah. More true to the comic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just more.
What about Halle Berry? Sorry, I can't even.
Never even
through that.
Never even seen it. But no, I love in Begins how they structure, because there's no real team ups in that. That was the first Batman movie that had multiple villains that didn't involve them all teaming up together. They were all just tiers of villains, right? Because it basically just goes Falcone. He thinks he's in charge, but he's basically just working for Scarecrow, who's basically just working for Ra's. And I really like the way that they structure that. So it's not like they had the moment like, hey, we're going to work together, guys.
Right.
Yeah, it's going to be great.
You're a good fighter, and I'm a good brain. So you're going to fight, and I'm going to work.
It's going to be awesome.
Or, like in Forever, I'm a funny villain, and you're also a funny
You're
villain.
also a funny villain, and you don't know how to act against me because I'm chewing through every scene I'm in.
We're going to be great together.
That'd be great, yeah. Yeah.
You've got two faces, and I've got red hair.
Boy, perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got purple hair.
Oh.
Some of the time.
Sometimes. You've got a gun.
I've got
And I've got a plunger thing.
a staff. A big old hook.
Riddle me this, Two-Face. How much money are you making for putting up with me?
Oh my God. What was the quote? I cannot sanction your buffoonery. Is
Something like
is
that.
what Samuel L.
Oh
Jones
my
told
gosh.
Jim Carrey.
Yeah.
In the middle of filming.
Yeah. To be fair, they were offset when he said that. It was at a restaurant.
It was at a restaurant, but still,
Yeah.
that's almost worse.
I would love this story to be a Black Mirror episode.
Oh, I could see
Like
that.
if there was a person that was so like they the episode starts with them not being able to like leave their house. They're so afraid of everything.
Yeah.
And they go through this trial process to remove all of their fears. And you see them kind of lose, like we talked about at the beginning, lose all of those emotions that Batman and the other characters lost in this, where he like isn't sympathetic to anyone anymore. He's not really caring for anyone. He does like all of his actions are only benefit himself.
Yeah.
And just kind of see how the world changes around him.
No, that would be really cool. Because right, it is a really interesting concept. And again, credit to the writers. This could have gone in a lot of different directions. They could have had an episode really focused on a lot of different people suffering, as it were, from a lack of fear. I mean, we kind of just hit those beats real fast to establish what's going on. We could have spent a lot of time with that. We could have had it be one of the villains that gets exposed to it. We could have it be Robin that gets exposed to it.
I did have the thought of like, what if Robin got hit? But Robin already is kind of fearless.
Well, he's a kid.
Exactly.
He's naive.
He has nothing to really worry about.
Yeah. Actually, I'm pretty sure the next Batman episode, which will be in 2 weeks, we're doing Apocalypse next week. Yes. So 2 episodes from now, episode 69.
Nice.
Yeah. Joker's Millions, and then also Growing Pains, which is the one you've mentioned before. The really good one with Robin and the little girl.
Oh, yes.
And so that's...
I'm not ready for that.
I know, right? That's kind of an interesting... like follow-up to this in some ways, right? That he's trying to learn that it's okay to have a bit of fear. And then he's put in a situation where he's like really emotionally affected by something, and he really has something he could lose, and that of course inspires fear too. Really looking forward to that episode. That's a great episode.
But also, sorry, to jump back to this for a half second.
The thing we're here to talk about.
Yeah,
Got it. Will
Smith would have been great in this episode if they just threw in Fresh Prince right at the end.
Yeah, someone needs to give him an anti-fear toxin so he won't be afraid to make some good old comedies again.
Yes. While we've been talking about all the very serious points of this episode, I just want to give a brief moment to talk about Kevin Conroy's amazing New York thug.
Oh my God, his really terrible
with
disguise.
His Gomez Adams mustache,
and some sunglasses. What? I was just trying to check out your stuff.
Yeah, I was just looking for some money, man.
Yeah,
amazing. Oh, it was so good.
Yeah,
I want a whole episode of Batman trying to be a New York thug.
What would? Because it matches Malloy, right? That's like the classic thug disguise. What would that guy's name be?
I don't know. I don't even know. Just Gomez. It's the only thing that I see in that.
Gomez Cannoli or something.
Gomez Cannoli.
Something really obvious.
Yeah.
Gomez
Marinara.
Random tangent. Have you ever seen the Addams Family's live action movies from the 90s?
Oh, of course.
I actually only watched them for the first time like a few months ago.
Really?
Well, I heard about them on the Script Notes podcast. They did like a breakdown episode talking about why those movies are so good.
They're so good.
They're really, really good. And I guess there's a new animated Addams Family they're working on, and Oscar Isaac is going to play Gomez.
Already down.
You know what? I'm okay with that. I would have loved to see him do live action.
Yeah, because I just want him with that mustache.
You've seen Sucker Punch, right?
He's in that.
He's in that.
Holy shit!
Everyone is in that movie.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's in that, and he's got that kind of Gomez, a little bit of that Gomez mustache. Mm-hmm. The man is so damn charming.
Yeah.
God damn it. He's gonna be a great Gomez.
Yeah.
I don't know any of the rest of the casting on that. Maybe it hasn't even been announced yet, but I'm excited for just that thing alone.
I really love the Addams Family because they did a bunch of crossovers with Scooby-Doo in the 70s. The original TV show I didn't appreciate it until college, but I watched almost all of it.
From the 50s?
Early 60s.
Okay.
Because that and Munsters were jumping on the popularity of like fantasy comics being so popular.
Oh, okay. Because the Munsters is just a ripoff of the Addams Family, right? Wasn't it? The Addams Family was on air first, and they just came along like we're just gonna do the Munsters.
I wouldn't say it's a ripoff because it's still a different story.
Well,
but the Addams Family are still human.
Yeah, but I mean, by that I mean that's the sort of like Hollywood creative decision, which is like this is popular, make our version of this.
Yeah, but there's a whole. Yes, you can say it's just a ripoff, but there was a whole movement of these kind of fantastical series because you had Addams Family come out. You had Genie.
I Dream of Genie.
I Dream of Genie. Thank you. You had that. You had the horse that could talk.
Mr. Ed.
Mr. Ed. That was the first one.
Bewitched.
I think. Bewitched came out around that time. Munsters came out, obviously, but all of these shows came out within a 5-year span.
Wait, was I humming the I Dream of Genie theme or the Bewitched theme?
That was I Dream of Genie.
Okay, good.
It's close. But yeah, there was a whole fantasy movement that happened because you had special effects become more commonplace in television. Like I said, the comics were a big part of that. Because do you know the story about the Comics Code and how fantasy comics almost ruined superheroes?
Wait, fantasy comics almost ruined superhero comics?
Those stories.
I thought was it? Is it Bartholomew Walper? Was he the guy who wrote the book?
Yes.
Yeah, and I thought that specifically went after superheroes, and so then there was a phase where it was a lot of non-superhero stuff. Is that right? Is that wrong?
I think that's right.
Sounds right.
We'll tell you more about it next week because I want to research that again. It's a very interesting story.
Okay. Mini-sode.
Yeah, maybe. Sure.
No, that's too much work for you.
Yeah.
I'd hate to put
where did we come from with this?
The Munsters, Addams Family.
Addams Family.
Gomez with mustache. Oh, right.
Wow, that was a journey.
We found it back. We followed the breadcrumbs. We worked our way back. Yeah, no, that was amazing. Okay. Any other thoughts on this?
I think that's everything. This is a great episode.
It is a great episode.
A lot of things to talk about with people.
Yeah.
Like how connected do you guys think fear is to general emotion?
Ooh, so many
such?
things to talk about. Yeah, this would definitely make my short list in terms of like new Batman Adventure episodes to go recommend.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely worth giving a gander. Hey, Brandon.
Yo,
We're podcasting. Say hi.
howdy ho.
So I did look up Maxima real quick because I didn't really know
Okay.
much about her. Her in the comics is basically the same as the one in the episode, although she actually becomes a hero at a lot of points.
Okay.
So
That's
she
good.
like her original. She started out basically like this, where she was like trying to hunt down Superman to be her suitor, and then she actually became a hero. She briefly joined the Justice League, like an offshoot of it, and then like Superman just kept on turning her down. So then she joined the Superman Revenge Squad. which
Amazing.
I've never read.
Did
the
she ever
comic.
team up with Star Sapphire? Because I feel like she'd be
Ooh.
a great Pink Lantern.
You know what? Maybe I don't know because she may have kind of gone out of favor a little bit before Star Sapphire
Okay.
was really big. But like I know there's a picture I've seen from like one of the DC and like encyclopedia books of like a whole bunch of people stabbing daggers into Superman's crest, and one of them is Maxima.
Okay.
But then she kind of came back and worked with him during the Imperiex War, which is I have those comics. I think I've read some of them, not all of them. But ultimately, she did sacrifice herself actually to save the universe.
That's good.
As a hero. And then this I found super interesting. They introduced her in the New 52, and she's in some sort of like battle training school with Supergirl, and it's called the Crucible Academy. And over the course of the issue, we actually realized that she's attracted to Kara, the Supergirl, and we learned that she's a lesbian, she's homosexual, and she left her planet because like that's forbidden.
Oh, that's
And so I
interesting.
thought that was a much more interesting way
I like
of
that.
handling her. Yeah, a much more nuanced contemporary version that I think was kind of nice.
Yeah.
But yeah, I that's kind of where like at least her Wikipedia entry ended. So I'm not sure what's happened with her since then. But
That's awesome.
that'd be cool to see that version of her pop up at some point. But now that I've had my little bit of Maxima talk
Oh,
there,
sorry, you were right. It is Sazu, not Zazu. It's Sazu.
yeah, Sazu,
Yeah. I kept hearing the
Zazu,
yeah,
Isn't that the Lion
bird
King?
from yes,
yeah,
right?
Yes,
yeah,
it's Zazu.
Yeah, because who's the bird from Aladdin? That's
Iago,
Iago. Thank you.
yeah, got you covered.
Thank you.
Uh,
Don't tell my coworkers.
Oh, I will. Post it all over your Instagram. What do you got to plug?
I've been very busy this week, so I only have one thing to talk about. I watched unintentionally watched the entirety of End of the Fucking World.
Was it good?
It's great.
I really like
I
that kid.
really like it.
Okay.
I wanted to just keep going. It's one of those series where it's only 8 episodes, and I just wanted to keep going.
I need to look up that actor's name.
I don't know. He's in one of the Black Mirror episodes that
He's-
really messed me up.
He's in a Black Mirror episode.
Season 3, episode 3.
He plays the young version of the Imitation Game. Oh my God, Alan Turing.
Oh, does he really?
He's young Turing in the Imitation Game.
Oh, wow.
Alex Lothar is the guy's name.
Okay.
He's the lead in, I know I've mentioned this before, Freak Show,
Okay.
which was one of my favorite movies last year. I think it actually comes out in theaters this year. I
Oh,
think it's
right,
coming
you
out
were
really
talking about
soon.
that, yeah.
But I saw it at the closing night of Outfest, and it was one of my favorite movies last year. It's really, really great. Highly recommend seeing if you get a chance. Freak Show. It's fantastic. Oh, but so you really liked End of the Fucking World?
Yeah, I liked it a lot.
It's like, how many episodes?
It's only 8 episodes,
8
20
episodes.
minutes each. Yeah, so it's
Thank
basically just a
God.
long movie.
Yes. Okay, good. That's one of those when I saw the trailer, I really was interested in it, and then I heard it was a series, and I was like, I don't know.
Yeah. No, it feels just like a long movie.
Okay.
Because it's just about 3 hours.
Okay, cool. Oh, nice. All right. I got to go watch that then. Super excited for that
Yeah,
one.
because he's great. The girl is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
She's just enough of that, like, I hate the character so much writing, but I want to know what happens to her.
Okay.
It's that kind of character, which
Yeah.
I feel like we don't get very much anymore.
They're just like, you kind of hate them, but you can't turn away.
Yeah.
I love characters like that. Those are really, oh, yeah.
But yeah, that's all I really have to plug this week.
Oh,
What
okay.
are you talking about? What have you been watching, listening, reading?
I
to?
saw The Post
Oh, you did?
when I was home.
How was that?
Amazing.
Good. I want to see it.
So good. I mean, look, it's Spielberg.
Right, it's
Meryl
Spielberg,
Streep.
Streep,
It's
and
Tom
Hanks.
Hanks. Also, tons of other people that are amazing. Bob Odenkirk's in it. And he's incredible. And David Cross too, and I forget the name of their show. Mr. Show?
Yeah, Mr. Show.
Yeah, there's like there's a kind of reunion. The two of them are in
that's
there,
so
in there
good.
together.
Because they had a reunion on Netflix, and I feel like the show did horrible.
Yeah, I don't think it did great.
Because I don't even know if it's still on Netflix.
I don't know. And Bruce Greenwood, who's one of my all-time favorite actors, he's in there as Robert McNamara.
Okay.
It's so damn good. I mean, again, it's Spielberg, so him on autopilot. Which, don't get me wrong, this is not him on autopilot at all. But him on autopilot is better than most people at like their full capacity.
Yeah.
And I mean, it still feels very Spielbergian. It's one of his movies where you kind of feel like maybe someone else could have done it. They just wouldn't have done as good of a job. But for him, there's not as much like real dramatic flair or like visual innovation. It's really just about telling the really amazing version of that story.
Okay.
One of the things I really loved about it is he does a lot of like cutaways to the actual mechanical process of printing newspapers from the 70s. So I had no idea how it worked.
Oh, that's interesting.
So basically you'll see it in the movie, but there's a guy sitting at a typewriter, and as he's typing, it's basically pulling down letters in metal like slots and then space bars in between them. And so it creates this like metal, like a little metal print that then they put ink over, and that's how they stamp it and stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah, because I had to do that for a class. Not the typing aspect, but I had to hand lay type.
Okay, yeah,
the miserable fucking
they did the hand laying
process.
thing, yeah, and it's super interesting.
Yeah.
I guess that makes sense. That had to be done. I didn't know that, but it's really good. It's absolutely worth seeing. It made me want to go, and I probably should go get like a subscription to the Washington Post. Thank God for them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I saw that, and I really loved it. The other book that I'm almost done with, I'm basically done with, is called Chasing Daylight.
Okay, that sounds familiar.
So it's
I think
written.
you've talked to me about it before.
I may have mentioned it to you. So it's written by Eugene O'Kelly, and he was the CEO of KPMG in the early 2000s. So it's one of the big four accounting firms, for those you don't know.
Okay,
and
I did not know.
He was,
Sorry, Mom.
Oh, Cameron. He was diagnosed with terminal inoperable brain cancer and had 3 months to live. And him being this incredible guy, he decided in that 3 months that he was also going to write a book. But it came about him making the most of his time left. So I mean, it's ostensibly about accepting death, but it's actually much more about how do you find a way to really take advantage of your time and embrace it, and like try and find perfect moments and perfect days. And it's really, really good. Like, it's just a good way of thinking about things. And like for me right now, I'm going through a bit of a family crisis, so it's been helpful. So if you've experienced death or you're going through something like that, it's really good. But even beyond that, I think it's just a good read for anyone who just kind of wants a slightly different perspective on the world. So yeah, it's really good.
Cool.
Yeah. Chasing Daylight by Eugene O'Kelly. It's worth it. So
Good to know. It's nice to have like a real plug for once in the 67 episodes we've done.
A real thing? Yeah. This is what I would actually recommend. It's actually, it's like yeah, it's a real thing. Yeah. But I think that basically does it.
Yeah. Who's our sponsor this week?
It's the Bro C.
Okay.
Yeah. So us, but about the OC and probably better.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Did you ever watch the OC?
I watched 5 minutes of the first episode and I immediately turned it off.
Okay. I watched one episode on mute because they premiered the first Revenge of the Sith trailer in the middle.
Amazing.
During the commercials.
Oh, that's so good.
It's kind of like all the people who went to go see, I want to say the movie was called Hearts in Atlantis back in 90, I guess it would have been 98, maybe early 99, because that was the... That's what the episode 1 shows included. So you get people who would like go and pay money to go see the trailer, then turn around and walked away. We actually went and saw the whole movie. It was pretty good from what I remember.
Okay.
Anthony Hopkins. Not an actual plug, but it's worth commenting on. But yeah, so the Bro C, go check them out. But I think that does it for us this week. We are at Timm Talk Pod on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Gmail.
Yes.
If you want to reach out to us and talk about your thoughts on fear.
Yeah, tell us your deepest fears.
What is your most irrational fear, and can it best mine?
That's a pretty good one.
It's super irrational.
I have to think about my most irrational fear.
I want to know. You're gonna have to come back with us next week. Like that fear that has like no grounding in reality whatsoever.
Yeah. I can't think. I know I have one. I thought about it a lot, but it's just not coming to me right now.
All right. Well, you'll loop back around on it next week and you'll tell us what it was.
Yeah.
I am at Lordifer on Instagram and Twitter.
I'm at CamDexter_adventures on Instagram, and fuck Twitter.
Twitter's fine.
You can find me at fuck on Twitter.
Wonder, is that... Can you have that as?
I don't think so.
Probably not.
Maybe in like a international account.
I'm looking this up.
At
@fuck on Twitter. Let's see. Is it a thing? Is it a thing? Yes. Yeah, someone has it. The name is Buck, and their handle is @fuck.
Amazing.
Linking you to the world of fuck, wherever it may lay. Got a good fuck link for us? Send it to us via direct. Oh, okay, I think it's just porn.
Great. Good.
I was
Perfect.
hoping it was someone who had a whole Twitter account just about how great the word fuck is.
Oh yeah.
Because it's
All of its uses.
yeah, it can be everything but an adverb.
Mm-hmm.
Even then, you can kind of make it work.
Yeah.
Anywho, I think that does it for us this week.
We've been doing so good up to this point. We should just end it now.
Spare everyone else. Thanks,
Yes.
guys. Bye.
Hey! Do you like teen dramas?
Do you like teens?
Do you like watching TV shows?
If you do, you might like watching the OC. So give it a try, and you can listen to us in podcast form on the Bro C. We talk about flip phones.
We talk about tube tops.
We talk about things from the early 2000s.
We talk about people smooching other people.
Ooh, and great, great music.
Yep.
So hey, listen to us on iTunes or SoundCloud here on the Nerdist School Network.
Woo.
The Nerdist School Network. For class and show information, visit nerdistschool.com.